So for businesses, content is both a necessity and sometimes a nightmare. This discussion today provides a blueprint for building an autonomous content engine that sources relevant topics, generates multi-channel content, and maintains a human-in-the-loop safety net to ensure business brand voice stays authentic. Small business owners, of course, deeply understand the need to be active on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, all these, and maintain a high ranking SEO blog, of course, and to keep the social feeds fresh and relevant. Yet, the content treadmill, the relentless cycle of researching, writing, and formatting, often comes at the expense of actually running a business. So in 2025, the conversation shifted from can AI write an article for me to how do I build a system that manages my content for me? So the goal here is no longer just a single chatbot interaction or a few articles to post on the blog. It is an integrated, automated, AI assisted process that functions like a 24/7 marketing department. So an automated content system is not just a single tool, but rather a workflow consisting of several different layers. So in this framework, first we have the sourcing layer, or finding trending and relevant topics that are interesting to the business and its audience. Then there's the orchestration of that, or we can think of this as the brain, the system or application that maps out the workflow between different sources and the different AI tools. There's the creative layer. There's the actual, which is the actual generation of the blog or media content, and then finally the review and distribution layer, where in this case there's a human in the process that checks the work and the system and makes sure everything is okay, and then it is sent for publishing. So starting with the sourcing layer, this is basically automating the research function. So the biggest hurdle oftentimes to consistent posting is the ideation, coming up with ideas. And so instead of staring at a blank screen, the AI system itself should be the one that brings the idea for you. So for example, using RSS feeds and Google Alerts, you can use a tool like Feedly or Google News RSS to monitor industry-specific keywords or topics of interest. For example, small business tax laws in 2025 or retail technology trends, things like that. Then there's an API. So for example, Perplexity AI API enables integration into the workflow to perform real-time research. So unlike standard LLMs, Perplexity can search the live web to find the most recent statistics and news, so helping to make sure that the blog posts aren't based on outdated information. And then there's a trigger, and that would be put into a tool like make.com, which activates whenever a new high authority article is published in the business niche. The second layer, the orchestration layer, is essentially connects the dots. So to make this a set it and forget it process, you need a glue to bring the tools together. So that's where this layer comes into play. Make.com is also can be used in this area and is often a preferred way because of its visual router type logic that allows you to put the process on a screen and identify what the source is going to be, what AI applications are going to be used, how that content is going to be generated, and make.com allows you to visually map all of that out. So for example, in a workflow logic example, you could say that a new article would be found via RSS. Then the action would be send the URL to ChatGPT or Claude or whichever your AI of choice would be, with a prompt to summarize the key insights and identify 3 unique angles for our small business audience. So every article that's identified would then be appended with that prompt. That prompt would then go into the AI, and AI would generate its content. But that's part of the next layer. So as far as storage goes, then these summaries would be saved into, for example, Notion database or an Airtable sheet, and that would be the content queue that is generated by this layer, which is then used by the next layer to actually generate the content. So going into details on that, we look at the creative layer. So once the research and the source content is brought together, the system moves into production mode. And this is where you can take these single ideas in the queue and transform them to a multi-platform campaign. So for example, starting with long-form blog writing, Claude or Jasper, or again, any of the popular AI generation tools. For example, take for example Claude, which is currently oftentimes is credited as more of a human-like sounding voice or structure to its output, and can follow at the same time complex brand guidelines without sounding like a robot, according to some reviews. So the idea here is not just to ask for a blog post, but provide a brand, a set of brand guidelines that is fed into the chat prompt. And then also you can add in, for example, the last 10 best performing articles. And so then the AI can use these as references in writing the next article, and replicating, for example, the sentence length and the vocabulary and the rhythm of the tone and the output. And so, in terms of maintaining a consistent brand image, these kinds of tools are becoming very sophisticated and helpful in that regard. Another example here is the social media snackables, as they're sometimes called. So the automation should take a completed blog draft and then from that generate a LinkedIn post with hooks and bullets that is typical of these kinds of posts. Then create a Twitter, which would have maybe 5 or 7 different Twitter or X posts that would be connected with that. An Instagram caption, for example, and then the visuals. Of course, no post is complete without an image, so you can automate this as well as part of the original workflow set up in the second layer by connecting to DAL E3 or Canva Magic, any of the image generation AI tools. So with this, then the system generates a header image for the blog automatically and a graphic for the social media. Then that could also be matching the brands or the business's color palette, for example, or whatever parameters can be put in there to maintain consistency. Then in the fourth layer, there's the human in the loop. So this is basically the safety net, and it's recommended to never 100% automate the entire process from origination to publishing. So off, and the other thing is a practical consideration. So automated content often is soulless. It doesn't have the personality that a business owner or a business or a brand can bring to the content, and can also miss the cultural nuances. And of course, then there's the other side of that is the data or the hallucinations that can result from the AI. So therefore, it's imperative to have a human in the loop that tracks the generation of content and then makes adjustments accordingly manually if necessary. Then there is distribution, also really part of the fourth layer. But once it's approved, then there are AI tools that can take this content, that can prioritize the timing or when the content is going to be published, and it can be done automatically based on either preset conditions, or it can actually gauge the market, and based on certain objectives then are fed into the system, can identify when is the best time to publish the content, and can manage the process automatically from there. So this often comes with a stack. I won't go into detail on this slide necessarily. This is just some common examples of different tools that are used to bring all of this together. And then there's the important point about what a business can do to make sure that they're optimizing the use of these AI tools, and to understand what is the connection, how this brings a competitive advantage to the business. So I think that there are a few things to highlight here. So we go through the effort of setting all this up, and what are the benefits? First of all, in terms of Google's SEO authority or Google algorithm prioritization. So we know that the Google algorithm prioritizes experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So EEAT is the acronym that's used for this. So by using AI to source real-time news, and then adding the human expertise or the particular view, which oftentimes is codified in the prompt, then that high quality content is recognized by the algorithm, by the Google algorithm. So it also streamlines, of course, the multi-channel presence, which brings a stronger image or brand image to the business. Um, and uh, sorry, so in this case, then a single idea can be used across a blog or a newsletter or LinkedIn post or Instagram story, for example. And then all of this is ties into cost efficiency. So hiring a full-time content manager or a boutique agency can cost a lot of money on a monthly basis. So building this automated engine requires just sometimes not even a couple $100s to set up or to pay for the monthly subscriptions and setup fees, but it can scale quite significantly beyond that. Of course, there are costs of many of the AI generation applications have a point system, or which ties into then a costing system that comes on a monthly basis on top of all that, and then external support. A lot of businesses will use external support to help them set this up, so that has its own cost. But otherwise, once that is in place, then there is a huge potential for greatly increasing the output while significantly reducing the monthly costs associated with maintaining a strong social media presence. So with that, we can see this as it's not an all or nothing approach for sure. And if AI is used for everything, it's important to remember that AI, well, there has to be a human in the loop. AI can't be just off on its own to do its own thing. So the key factor here, the secret to this approach, is the hybrid nature of it, and allowing you flexibility in using different AI tools, and also generating content for different types of channels, and also making sure that there is a stamp of approval, and that the unique insights that only a human can offer is included as part of this process. So by building the automated engine, then a business owner can stop being a content creator and can basically see their job as being content editor in chief. So moving from the daily treadmill of word generation and to actually thinking about first and foremost the message that is sent to customers, and what are the themes and ideas that are being conveyed, and how these ideas can be codified and communicated in the most effective ways possible. So with that, there are a few key questions. I'll just go over these very briefly. First of all, is there a documented brand voice or a style for the business that can be fed into the AI that the AI can follow? So and that includes stylistic guides on types of words that would be used more frequently, or words that would not be used, that would not necessarily fit into the image or brand image of the business. So a lot of potential there, but having that style guide is a key part. The second question is the current content workflow mapped out, or is it ad hoc? What has been the practice for the business already? Also, to bring together what are the different channels that the business prioritizes, that they see are important, where the customers are congregating, or and where the customers are most likely to view their message. And then what about the human in the loop? Is there someone that can be that can have the carry the burden of responsibility? Perhaps it's the owner, or it's somebody else in the organization, to understand what is appropriate, and to understand the potential legalities or liabilities that go with certain messages that are sent out, and who is business savvy enough to be able to identify potential issues or problems in the AI generated output. And finally, is the tech stack that the business has already API friendly? So this set it and forget it model, of course, relies on different software programs to communicate with each other. So oftentimes this is what the external support can do. Many times, though, these systems can be integrated seamlessly, and just requiring initial setup, sharing of URLs and codes between applications, for example. And so just to make sure that everything is done in a way that can be connected, that the accounts are accessible from multiple different directions, and to make sure that process is set up. So with these in mind, then businesses can carry this forward. Oftentimes, the best to start with just a very simple make.com interface that connects the research and the content generation and then the human review, and then to make the system more, with that basic process in place, the system can be more complex and other AI tools can be integrated into the process at a later time, and the system then can be more effective over time. So monitoring loop and feedback loop is also a very important part of the process. So a lot of details there that I haven't really gone into, but are also quite interesting and key to success of the system. But also, we're all learning this one step at a time, and I think it's really fascinating the capabilities out there and what businesses can do to automate their content generation. So with that, thanks so much. Have a great day ahead. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks again.